For professional, knowledgeable real estate service you can count on, call the Dan Gemus Real Estate Team. For solid real estate information and advice you can trust, listen to the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.
Compliments to the show. You're really hitting on the subjects and you're telling the truth. I appreciate you.
Now back to the show with broker owner and host, Dan Gemus.
Okay, another segment here. We're on with you till 1 o'clock. So 3 more segments, in fact, that you're going to have with the Dan Gemus team here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show. And a reminder, if you're looking to make a move, the Dan Gemus team is always here to help. You can call us 519-566-5565 or find us online at dangemus.com. Just Google our team name and you'll find us there. We're not hard to find. Okay, so some things that we as realtors wished every home buyer and seller knew. Joyce, before we went to commercial, we were talking about pricing properly. You want to make another point.
Yeah, so we talked about, if you price too high, it's hurting you in this market because you only have one chance to make a really great impression. And your first 2 weeks on the market are critical weeks because that's when the most eyes see your property. Right. But on the flip side, there is an enormous risk at pricing too low as well.
Huge.
Sometimes it works out really, really great, and it really depends on the price point that you're in. But it also depends on what you're trying to do, what you need, where you need to go, because there are no guarantees that you're getting 50, 100, or 150 over the asking price, like back in the COVID days, just because you price low. Then what? Well, then you need to cancel your listing or relist it.
We're seeing that quite a bit right now.
Change the price, and now you've been sitting on the market. Now buyers or buyers' agents are looking at your property thinking, wow, this place has been on the market for a month. Nothing's going on. It seems to be priced okay. There must be something wrong with it. Let's go in with a low ball. And then what? Yep. Now you're further behind than you wanted to be in the first place than you probably would have been if you priced appropriately.
Folks listening may have noticed over the last little bit, like you said, Joyce, people listing for $500,000. It's on the market for, a couple weeks. Next thing you know, it's canceled and relisted for $650.
Right.
Like, what is happening? People always asking you, Dan, why is that happening? Mm-hmm.
That being said, we're seeing a lot of properties, way, way more than we ever did for a few years, that are selling under that 500 threshold, which is fabulous. I think it's just amazing because it's opening doors and opportunities for people that have really been significantly struggling to get into the market. So that being said, if they are priced lower, let your realtor ask your realtor what's going on in that neighborhood, so you have a realistic outlook of what to expect if you want
honestly,
to see it.
We know pretty well if something is priced at $500,000 and everything around it we know is selling for $600,000, $700,000. We know that's where the seller's expectations are. They're just maybe not listing properly or trying a different tactic. I shouldn't say not listing properly because everyone tries different tactics and depending on the situation.
There's pros and cons for different approaches, for sure.
There's risks no matter which way you go.
Yeah.
Right?
And buyers are much more savvier now, too.
Yes, they are.
They have a lot more information out there that they can access. And they sometimes, in all honesty, because we deal with a lot of properties every day, I'll work with a buyer that knows more about certain listings than I do.
Yeah.
Because they've been watching and watching and watching, and maybe it's the first time I've seen it because we see listings every day.
Yes.
I don't know these things, but they're savvy and they actually tell me. And it's like, wow, well, let's go take a look, and then you can agree upon things, but much more savvier buyers out there.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so some more things that we wish you knew as home buyers and sellers. The importance of a pre-approval.
No.
Yes.
No, you have to have a pre-approval. I, by rule, do not take anybody out without a pre-approval, because if you tell me that you're approved to 500 and you're not, and we go and look at homes for 500, and all of a sudden we come back and there's a financing clause and the bank says you can only afford 300.
Yes.
There's a big difference in what you're getting between 3 and 500. Right. Now, if I'm showing you those 500 properties, your heart's set on that, and it's hard to get your mind wrapped around the 300. It's big. I hate saying it this way, but it's a big waste of time.
And we can't necessarily say, when we say pre-approval, we don't mean go on the bank's website and punch in a couple numbers and it'll tell you what you can possibly afford. We mean literally get in touch with a mortgage person. We can help you connect with somebody, with Ron Bondi, the Super Mortgage team if need be, and get a proper pre-approval.
Mm-hmm. And listen, you're going to know if you've had a proper pre-approval if you have to, supply job letters, your pay stubs, T4s for the past, or not T4s, notice of assessment. maybe T4. I don't know. There's all kinds of different things depending on your situation, and then you'll know that you've put in the legwork and the due diligence, and you have a proper approval in place.
Yep, great point. But it's definitely is key. It's important, and things are shifting. And like Ron said yesterday on our call, not only are the interest rates shifting quickly right now, but the government rules are shifting on many different fronts as well.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
Which is benefiting home buyers. So there are programs that maybe when you got pre-approved 6 months ago are now available. So touch base with your bank or your mortgage person again to see what has shifted, because first of all, the rates have come down since then. And the new government programs, there's multiple programs that have jumped in that will change the situation you might be in, and maybe you can afford more than you thought you could, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure you definitely check into that.
Yeah, it's kind of like going out blind if you don't go and talk to somebody. I mean, you need to know what your affordability is.
That's right.
It's just plain and simple that way.
Listen, if you're buying or selling a property, let's say if you're buying a property, there's a few professionals you need for sure. Realtor number one, a mortgage person number two, and a real estate lawyer.
Yep.
Those are the three that, and a home inspector.
Yes.
So four.
Yep.
4 key players that you need, regardless. So that's
we can hook you up.
Important. Yeah, we can. And again, if you're working with us, we can definitely make some suggestions for you.
We've aligned ourselves with some great professionals out there, and we're happy to refer them.
That's right. Not to mention our Perks program. Our VIP Perks program, which is a huge program, and anybody who works with the team has access to our VIP Perks program, where you save on hundreds and hundreds of services across all of Windsor Essex County. And this is not just, Joyce, real estate related services.
No. We have like home decor, home maintenance, but there's also like float LaSalle and Lakeshore, for example. And we have Walkerville candles. There's all kinds of
there's pet
things involved.
There's just,
and you're always adding every day. Like, I mean,
all the
100%.
time. Yeah, HVAC, pets, maintenance,
That's right.
handyman.
That's right. So if you are listening right now and you are a client of the team, or you're working with the team, and you've forgotten, make sure you go to the website, go to the Perks program, and you can sign right up right there and have access to our VIP Perks program.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
It is.
Again, why not take advantage?
Absolutely.
And
Savings
save some
and
money.
savings.
That's right.
Especially now, when things are a little tighter for some people. Let's save you some money if we can.
You have all your typical,
No matter
your
what.
plumbers,
Save money.
plumbing services, your HVAC, your power washing, your window coverings, all the things you use on a regular basis is there, and then all kinds of other stuff too. So it's so cool. Make sure you check it out.
Absolutely.
And before we get too far into that, I want to remind everybody, if you're looking to make a move, the Dan Gemus team is always here to help. You can find us on our website at dangemus.com, DANGEMUS.com, or give us a call 7 days a week at 519-566-5565. We'll come out there and give you a free home market evaluation. We service all of Windsor Essex County. So whether you are in LaSalle or Tecumseh, Leamington, Kingsville, Bell River, Lakeshore, Essex, Amherstburg, Windsor, I've covered them all. Cottam, Old Castle,
Harrow.
Don't
forget Harrow.
Malden, Center,
Ruthven, I'm trying to get everything.
Then the Dan Gemus team is there. We can come out there and give you a free home market evaluation. In fact, go to our website, find our sold map, and zoom in, and you will see that we have sold houses literally in every neighborhood in the county. Zoom into a neighborhood, and you'll see we've sold multiple houses. Oftentimes, we've taken over the whole neighborhood and sold lots of houses in those neighborhoods. So
it's crazy when you love what you do. How,
I know, isn't it great?
How things can go. So, yeah.
Listen, we've been on the air. It's been over 10 years now, which is crazy. And I'll tell you, for those who are new to the show, my background, I was here at AM800 from 2001, 2002 to 2010. Is when I left to go into real estate full time. And so was licensed in 2009 for a few months, and then left quickly thereafter when the business kind of took over my life, and it was hard to do both. But it's been great. It's been lots of fun to be able to continue my
Passion.
My passion, thank you, of radio with you here on the show, and to all of you who have listened the whole time. In fact, I still have listeners approaching me, remembering my day back when I used to work at AM800, my days back from my original AM800 days. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And that's how you know a station has loyal listeners.
That's right.
When they've been with us for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And back when we had the show at 7 a.m. in the morning on Sundays.
Those
and
weren't so
7
great.
p.m. on Tuesdays. I know. Whew.
That was an early morning.
Those were
How
early
often
mornings.
do you hear it, though? People say, I listen to the show all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I get that, and I like going to when you go to like meet with somebody, whether it's a buyer or seller. Say, "Oh, I hear you on the radio all the time." So it makes you feel it makes you smile because that they're listeners and they're listening every weekend.
And people often ask, is that really how you guys are? In
Yep.
person? Yes. We're just as corny in person as we are on the show.
I like to
100%.
have fun. I mean, it's you got to bring a little laughter once in a while. So,
Yeah, that's all you can do,
Yeah.
right? And yes,
Except I'm serious.
Joyce is very serious.
Oh my goodness!
You were on the show yesterday with me. Holy moly.
I'm glad I left early.
Yeah, man. And yes, if you are a Wings fan, I will rib you just as much in person. If you're a Leafs fan, Aaron will rib you just as much in
Yep.
person. There's nothing better than walking into a house in eval and having a room dedicated to the opposite team.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, oh, we got to leave.
Your value just went down $100,000. Our
Exactly.
apologies. We'll list it, but your value went down way,
absolutely.
much lower.
Take that stuff down, and we're not
right.
selling.
That's right. If you are a Leafs fan, you want me at the house. If you are a Wings fan, you want Aaron at the house.
Yes.
Otherwise, just
We'll get along just fine.
And I'm impartial, kind of.
Joyce doesn't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So,
Kat doesn't care.
This is no
Heather
fun.
doesn't care. Yeah, we just don't care. It's all good. Depends who you have on the team. So listen, before the break, we were talking about some things that we as realtors wish you knew as buyers and sellers, and had some great discussion. We were talking about pricing, talking about the importance of pre-approvals, which is huge. Now, on this list is the first offer is often the best offer. Let's talk about that a little bit. I this is often true. Now,
It
I
is
think
often
this is
true.
market driven.
Yes.
Okay, so going back before the craziness, okay, before the multiple offers, it was often true, and I think we're heading back towards that market.
Yes.
Where it's often true, depending on how long the house has been listed. If the house has been listed for a little while, then yes, oftentimes the first offer you get will be the best offer you're going to see.
I was
go ahead.
just going to say, depending on what market you're looking at, like before, like you say, yes.
well, let's talk about this market, though.
This market. I would probably say we're getting back to that, like Dan just said.
Yeah.
Because who knows right now? I mean, those offers come in, you decide maybe it's not quite
little
there.
sporadic, yep.
You may not get anything back again.
That's right. I'm just thinking of the simple fact that your first offer, the people are excited.
Yes.
And they're, even if they don't come in at what you are expecting, that is the point where they're probably going to be more negotiable.
Sure.
Because there's one offer on the table. There's, just two people trying to hammer things out amongst each other. Then if you decline an offer, and an example would be you're holding off on offers for a few days, but somebody brings a bully offer, for example.
Sure.
Bring a bully offer, you turn them away, they might get a sour taste in their mouth, and like Aaron said, they may not come back
Yep.
to the table again, right? So that makes it a challenge. For
Even
sure.
if it's a little bit lower your first offer, you try and negotiate it.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're seeing that. We're seeing negotiations come back. We're getting people to come in a little bit lower, and the seller wants a bit more, and we do that old back and forth, and you get somewhere. So I mean, I'm the type that I don't like to have anything die in my hands, so I want to sign that back because you don't know where that person's thought process is. Maybe
Right.
said, I'm going to
Call
throw
their bluff.
something out there, try it first, and we'll see what happens, what they come back
It
with.
often works out.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes you just have to be a little more patient now. We're not going to say, here's 20 offers, pick your favorite now.
There's a couple of things that I just want to make note of. We have newer agents in the business that entered the business when everything was going wildly
Yep.
over, and they did not have to, and they weren't really trained to negotiate because they didn't have to.
We've gone from 900 realtors to 1,700.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And in all
again,
fairness,
and
though,
it's-
too, they didn't get proper training because their time wasn't there.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, and I'm not picking at them. What I'm just suggesting is that you don't like Aaron said, you don't want to let an offer die in your hand just because it's not exactly where you want it to be, because you have the opportunity to negotiate in this market, usually, not always, but usually. And then the other thing I wanted to mention just flew right out of my head.
We'll get back to you in the next
Yeah.
section.
Jeez.
I know, all business.
Next on the list, not every renovation increases your home's value.
No.
Yes, this is a great point for sure. And this is where it's important. If you are thinking of making a move and you're debating whether or not you should renovate something in the house, have us out first.
Yeah.
We might
Yeah.
tell you, you know what? No, you're not going to get the return on dollar. Just
Price accordingly.
I've had a
yeah.
lot of that lately because it's people want to make sure that their house is standing out.
Sure.
There is certain things I've told people don't do because you don't know what other people's preferences are. So
Yeah.
I mean, like for example, do I put down new flooring? Well, if you put down carpet, they're probably going to tear it out and put down laminate. Or if you put down laminate, they might tear it out and put down carpeting. I mean, maybe the best thing is leave it.
Yeah, if it's
price accordingly.
presentable.
Yes.
Yes.
If, it's,
Yeah.
like, if it's horrible, I might say take it out and maybe just leave the cement floor
Sure.
and let the other people decide to say, hey, we didn't want to put new flooring down because we didn't know what you would want. But then you price accordingly for that and let people know that. But
listen, you get to the point in the market sometimes where the seller will leave it empty and say, listen, you pick the flooring, we'll give you some options.
Absolutely.
And before
Yeah,
you move in,
absolutely.
We'll put the flooring
yep,
in.
I've had that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it'd be wise to underestimate how just investing the time in a really good clean and a declutter
Yes.
will make to the presentation of your property just in general. Price
Yes.
it accordingly, declutter, start packing up your stuff, and get rid of stuff and just minor repairs, just things like that, presentable and livable and functional.
Yeah, because I noticed a lot as well. Ever since, and I hate the big P word, pandemic, a lot of people are looking at space in a house now. So you have to have flow in a house. If you have that bulky furniture where people kind of maneuver around, they don't feel they have the space. They want flow.
Yes.
So they have that better area.
Next on the list of things that we as realtors wish every home buyer and seller knew. Buying and selling is an emotional process, but it's also a business transaction. Yeah, it gets emotional, folks. It does.
Yeah, it's hard to tell someone to take the emotion out of it because they've had it. But
That's why you have us, though, as well.
yes,
Right?
because I can take the emotion out. Like, I mean,
Yes.
I can be bipartisan or whatever you want to call it, but it is emotional. What?
Nothing.
It is emotional, but I mean that's not what people are buying. That people don't pay for emotion or the memories you have there. So it's kind of you got to kind of pull back.
Aaron should
Yeah.
tell that to the guy, the parking guy at the window.
Yeah.
Aaron could take emotion out of it.
That was ridiculous. I had to be emotional. Who pays $80 to $100 for parking? Come on.
Okay,
We
Aaron
did.
does. Aaron does. Yeah, exactly.
And so did everybody else there. I guess we had no choice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, next on the list, the importance and the value of curb appeal. It's huge.
Yeah, it absolutely
Right?
is.
First impression.
Clean up the dog poop.
Yeah. Trim the
Make sure your
hedges.
lawn's mowed. Make sure people can get into the front door without having to navigate through the shrubs.
Yep.
Make sure the front door's nice. It's not hanging off on the hinges, things like that. Because, like you say, you get that one chance to make your first impression, and that's it.
I love this next one. Love it. Be flexible with showings.
Oh. Yes. Yes. I
Yes.
keep going, because it's so true.
You never know where your buyer's coming from, and if you turn down a showing, that could very well have been your buyer, and there's
Yep.
no guarantee they're coming back. And we get it. Life circumstances happen, and sometimes you're working around pets.
Nothing I hate more than
Or sick family
sorry,
members.
no, you can't do the showing today. We slept in and it didn't clean the house. Oh,
Yeah.
guys.
There's always extenuating circumstances, but you need to have a contingency plan for those extenuating circumstances.
Yep.
Figure it out,
Well,
folks.
just remember that your house is on the market and a showing could happen at any time.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, not at midnight or anything, but within those
Well,
times.
even
Of, yeah,
You never know.
It's vacant or if
Aaron's
you-
a night owl.
Yeah, I'm a night owl. Come on in. I'll even give you a cookie or two. I don't know. I'm usually munching something. So, but
Popcorn.
yes, popcorn. Richmond popcorn. So, yeah, that place is going to be the end of me.
Oh, shoot. Okay, we have time for one more. Let me see here. Realtors are there to help, but we're not magicians.
Yes. I can do some small hand magic.
Well,
kind of
Aaron can
thing.
levitate.
Yes. I can levitate, as we heard earlier. But yes, we can only do so much. How do you really word that? Like, I mean, you can negotiate so far, but it always depends on other sides too. Everybody has a
Yeah, if a seller is not willing to take our advice,
Right.
and if other agents are providing feedback and we're sharing it with our seller and they're not listening to the feedback, well, we're not magicians.
And
We
we're
can't-
only as strong as the people on the other side
That's
as
right.
well,
That's
right?
right.
Like for agents and the buyer, right? It depends on where their level of negotiation is
That's
and
right.
their idea of value and
That's right.
whatnot. We can't control that.
Exactly.
Yep.
So great. Well, listen, great points.
yeah.
Holy
it's,
moly.
That was really good segment to
Well,
bring up.
thank you, Aaron.
I like
Appreciate
that.
Well,
Good pick. Much
yeah.
better than yesterday.
I
That
know.
gets you-
It started out great, but it went down.
started out
But that's going to get you the opportunity for a dad joke now, because
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I
So
can't wait. I got to find a dad joke. Okay, listen, we're going to come back with a dad joke, and we're going to take some listener questions, and we're going to give away the gift card for the Richmond Popcorn Company. So hang tight for that, okay? Lots more to come right here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.